everyone, my name is Julia Dank and welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for stopping by. Today, per request in my comments, I'm doing an updated record collection video. So everything in the previous record collection video that I filmed will not be featured in this video. So I'll have that one linked down below. But since I filmed that video, which I think was maybe 2 years ago, I have definitely expanded the collection with some modern pieces, some vintage, some thrifted, just a really nice array. And I'm very excited to talk about the almost enhancements that I've made to the record collection. So I officially counted all of the records that I have, and it's a whopping 65 records, I believe. And I think for the amount of time that I've been collecting records, I would say that's a pretty decent amount. But yeah, so let's just hop right in. And if you're interested in seeing my record collection, just keep hanging out. So I'm breaking this up into kind of sections of genres in a way. So first I'm going to be starting out with more vintage eras, I guess you'd call them. So from the 60s to the 80s, I would say. So in my last video, I featured Jimi Hendrix Smash Hits, which this has a lot of his most famous songs, but I wanted to delve into more of his full album. So I started off with an essential, of course, Jimi Hendrix Experience Axis Bold as Love. The cover art on this is absolutely incredible. And then when you flip it over, there's some more beautiful art here. It seems very inspired by the Hindu religion. Like I see Ganesh, I see some different Hindu gods on here. I'm not sure if Jimmy was a practicing Hindu, but you cannot deny the beauty of that religion, and that is so beautifully depicted on this album. This is a really interesting album because when you're looking at it, you'd think that you'd open it left to right like most, but you actually open it this way. And this is a single LP. There's some really beautiful tunes on here, but if I had to pick a favorite, I would maybe say Castles Made of Sand or Bold as Love, but Little Wing is on here, and like, what the hell? Little Wing has to be one of the best songs ever created in the history of humankind. So yeah, love Jimi Hendrix. He's my man. Next, we have Woodstock 2. This is such a cool record. I got this from like I talked about this store in my previous video. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a consignment store, kind of like a buy-sell trade place. Like you can get like old guitars, motorcycles, neon signs, like old cameras, all this stuff. And then they have an amazing record section that you can get really great deals. So this one was only $10, and it's a double LP, and it basically has an amalgamation of different artists that played at Woodstock. So we have Joan Baez, Butterfield Blues Band, Canned Heat, Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young, Jimi Hendrix, Jefferson Airplane. There's some really beautiful music on here. I recently went to the Woodstock Museum, actually. It's up in the Catskills in New York. And funny enough, Woodstock took place in Bethel, New York, not Woodstock, New York, which is so funny. It was so cool. I would definitely recommend checking it out. For COVID, they're having pretty good COVID practices. You feel very safe, and it was just such a nice way to beat the cold, because it was very cold, and get a little bit of history and just do something nice during these crazy times. Okay, next we have The Doors. This is Waiting for the Sun. This is such a beautiful psychedelic rock record. Very experimental in my opinion for some of the tracks, but there's also some of their classics on here. My boyfriend is really into The Doors, and he recommended I get this album, so I'm checking it out. I'm really liking it. I mean, Jim Morrison is an absolute icon, so and then it's really cool. And the inside it says Celebration of the Lizard. Fun fact, my boyfriend and I were Jim Morrison and Janis Joplin for Halloween. And speaking of Janice, she's on my shirt today. Next, we have Mr. Bob Dylan. I think I maybe showed this in my last video, so I won't talk too long on this one, but this is Bob Dylan, Nashville Sky. And next, we have some James Taylor records. This one I believe is called The Man and the Dog, or A Man and His Dog. What is this one? One Man Dog. Yeah, okay. I just love his folk sound. His voice is so relaxing. Some really nice cover art on here. This one I thrifted, and I thrifted this James Taylor record as well, but I looked all over this, and for the life of me, I cannot figure out the name of this album, so I'm gonna have to do some research. Maybe it's just self-titled, but what a beautiful guy. He has like a little leaf pinned to his jacket and Autumnal King. Then we have a nice $1 find. This is the Chicago Transit Authority. This is a really nice album, I would say. This is more of like a 70s rock kind of vibe, but a little bit jazzy. It's just a nice album to listen to if you want to listen to more of like a vintage vibe, and it was only $1, so that was nice. Then we have Elton John Greatest Hits. In my last video, I featured that Elton John Live in London record that I have. That one is so iconic, but there are some skips on that one because it was thrifted, and it doesn't have a sleeve. It just has the little sheet that you like stick the record in. So I'm gonna see if I can maybe buy a sleeve and stick that one in there. But this is a really great album. It has Your Song, Daniel, Honky Cat, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, Rocket Man, Benny and the Jets. I mean, seriously, so many good ones. Crocodile Rock, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. I mean, this album is freaking incredible. As you can tell, I thrifted this one as well. I thrift a lot of my records. I mean, even if the quality isn't perfect, I think it still adds to the experience, and things don't need to be perfect to be beautiful. All right, next we have some Pink Floyd. Oh, I love this record. I mean, seriously, look at this cover art. Oh my gosh, and here they are. These guys are freaking incredible. This is their album Metal. My favorite song on here is Fearless. Oh, that is just one of my all-time favorite songs. And the just cover art is so beautiful. This is one of their very relaxing kind of records, and I love to pop this on at night and just vibe out. And then we have the Greatest Hits from Pink Floyd. So this is a compilation of some of their most popular songs. So this is a double LP, and some of the most popular ones on here are like Wish You Were Here, Breathe, Money, Comfortably Numb, Shine On You Crazy Diamond, parts 1 through 5. If you have not heard that song, just do yourself a favor, go listen. All right, next we have the Beach Boys and the Summer. Oh, I love the Beach Boys. They just, when I put on the Beach Boys, I cannot help but be in a more sunshiny mood. This record is so special to me. It was given to me by a friend, and I really love this album. I mean, the cover art is so beautiful. The inside art is really interesting. It kind of looks like a circus or something like that. But this has some of their classics like Catch a Wave, Surfin' USA, Help Me Rhonda. Every time I hear Help Me Rhonda, I think of Full House. When they call into that radio station and they're like, what's the name of this song? Do you remember this episode? If you remember, please comment down below. Such a fun little record, and I love that in the summer months. Next, we have another thrifted baby. I cannot believe that I got this for $1. The Best of Earth, Wind and Fire, Volume 1. Are you kidding? $1? How did I score this? I have some really good luck sometimes, I really think. There's some beautiful art on the inside featuring different pictures of the band. There's some serious good tunes on here, like literally September. $1, and it has September on it. Kidding? Wow. All right, next we have Queen, A Night at the Opera. Oh wow. Beautiful, beautiful work. I always loved Queen because growing up as a choir kid, you cannot imagine the amount of time that we all spent almost excessively singing Bohemian Rhapsody in school. And was anybody else a choir kid? And there was always that one kid that would hop on the piano, and then everybody would flock to the piano and they would just play one song, and it was Don't Stop Believing by Journey, and everybody would just stand around trying to outsing each other, and then I'm there in the corner just being like, I don't want to deal with these fools. Did anybody else have this experience, or is this just me? So some of the tunes on here: You're My Best Friend, Love of My Life, God Save the Queen, I'm in Love with My Car. Very interesting. Next we have the motion picture soundtrack from The Breakfast Club. I love this because I love this movie, and so when I put on this record, I can kind of envision that I'm watching the movie. And there's just some really great songs on here, but of course, Don't You Forget About Me is the first track, so you pop that on and Simple Minds just takes over your body, and you're thrown into a scene with Molly Ringwald just feeling like the main character. It's a beautiful thing. I kind of wanted to just section out some of my thrifted vinyl that's a little bit more miscellaneous. So yeah, starting off, we have the Nat King Cole Trio. This is just a really nice jazz album. I probably got it for $1 or something. Sometimes when I'm out thrifting or I'm at a record store in the dollar bins, I just kind of like to go with what pulls me and try out new things. And just bring some things home, test them out. You know, it's only $1, and this was a great find. I love Nat King Cole, so this was really awesome. Then I found a Joan Baez record in the dollar bins at this record store near me. She just has such a beautiful voice. Her voice is just, it's very nostalgic sounding, even though it is, you know, from a vintage era. It is a nostalgic sound. There's something about it. I don't know. Her vibrato is very beautiful. I believe her style of music falls within the folk genre. But yeah, if you're a fan of classic queens with very like feminine vibrato type voices, you would definitely like Joan Baez. Then I have another dollar bins find. This is Louis Armstrong. I'm a big fan of jazz. Growing up, I listened to a lot of jazz music because we always had the smooth jazz radio station playing, so I really love this find. This was such an interesting find in the dollar bins. This is Pat Benatar. You may know her for her song Hit Me With Your Best Shot. This was just such a cool find. I just saw it and I was like, wait, I never even thought to like grab a record from her. So this is really fun if I'm in like an 80s mood and I'm like wanting to clean or something like that. Most often if I'm listening to records, I'm probably cleaning or doing self-care, writing in my journal or something like that. I wish I could just take my record player with me. That's the only thing about a record collection. Like, you have to be home to enjoy it. Next, we have another dollar bins find. This is Judy Collins, Wildflowers. This is another vintage folk kind of find. It's just really nice and relaxing, and I feel like listening to these female artists really helped me tap into my feminine energy, and it just makes me feel like I'm back in the 60s frolicking through a field in like a flowy dress with hair down to my ass. Frank Sinatra. Oh. I love Frank Sinatra. This is September of My Years. None of his like very popular songs are on this album, which is why I was excited to pick this one up when I was out thrifting. And I'm just really happy that I grabbed this one because I'm a big fan of Frank, but there's definitely a lot of stuff on here that I haven't delved into. So I'm excited to experience this album and get an even deeper dive into Frank's work. Here's a really interesting record that I got from the dollar bins. This is a compilation of a bunch of different artists. So it says The Very Best of Berlin. I don't really know what that means, if Berlin was like a genre back then or something. I just know it as a city in Germany. It has some tracks from Judy Garland, Bing Crosby, Kate Smith, Fred Astaire. So I'm excited to try this one out. I haven't listened to this one yet, but I think it was a really cool find. And that's my favorite thing about thrifting records, is you can really try out so much new stuff. Then here is the last one of my thrifted finds, and this is the Ray Charles Singers. Another dollar find. I mean, I seriously luck out at these dollar bins. So this is Songs for Lonesome Lovers. Nice little jazzy record. Now I'm gonna get into the modern section of this, and we're gonna start off with my man, Malcolm. This is Swimming, Mac Miller. Oh, wow. We miss him. We really do. This is such a beautiful record. I definitely want to expand my Mac Miller collection. So some absolute beautiful tunes. I don't even know if I could pick a favorite, but this is just such an incredible record. Then we have Golden Hour from Miss Casey Musgraves. This record, oh my God. I mean, I'm not the only one who's obsessed with not only this record, but with Casey. Every single song, the cover art, I mean, do you see this? It's just so beautiful. And the record is really pretty because it's clear. Isn't that so cool? So My favorite song on this one I think is Slow Burn, but there's just so many beautiful tunes. I love Space Cowboy. Obviously Golden Hour, I mean, how couldn't you? Butterflies, Lonely Weekend, honestly all of them. I'm not gonna pick, all of them. I know almost every single word to every song. Next is a really interesting record. This is from, I'm probably gonna butcher this name, but Khruangbin. This is their Con Todo El Mundo record. If you've never heard of Khruangbin, they're a very jazzy group, and you hear a lot of themes within their music where they'll take a melody and kind of switch it around in a different song. They're just very relaxing. This is a beautiful record from them. I also love their one, I don't know if it's called Mr. White or if that's just, you know, a song on the record, but I believe it might be called that. But I love that record from them as well. Megan Hughes, mentioned her in my last video. She put me on to this band. And my brother also loves Khruangbin. They're one of his favorite bands. They were on his Spotify Wrapped. Yeah, this is a beautiful, jazzy, relaxing kind of record, and I definitely recommend this artist. Next, we have Mandolin Orange. This is their Tides of a Teardrop record. This is another band that I was put onto by Megan Hughes. She has definitely introduced me to a lot of really fantastic music. Mandolin Orange is very folky, almost on the border of country, but in my opinion, better. I absolutely love their music. It's really nice for driving if you're on a road trip, very relaxing, and I love that it's basically two people and their mandolins and banjos. The musicianship in their discography is very, very impressive, and you can just hear how skillful they are on these string instruments. I just absolutely love this record, and I love Golden Embers and Like You Used To, When She's Feeling Blue. Oh, there's just so many beautiful tunes on this one. And we have Mac DeMarco too. Oh, Mac DeMarco. I mean, he's just a classic. I feel like everybody loves Mac. Like, you just can't not. There's so many great songs on this record. I think Ode to Viceroy is my favorite one, but I also love My Kind of Woman, and Freaking Out the Neighborhood obviously is a classic, and I love Cooking Up Something Good. It always makes me think of my mom, who's a really good cook. Then we have Everything Not Saved Will Be Lost Part 1 from Foals. Foals is such an interesting band. I used to listen to them a lot when I was younger, in like middle school, high school kind of. And this record really encompasses a lot of different genres for them. It's very interesting. It really takes you on a journey. I feel like this is such a random addition to my collection, but I was just in the record store one day, and maybe it was the cover art that drew me in, but it's a really interesting record, and there's a lot of different kind of vibes on it, so it's nice if you want something a little more diverse to take you on a journey. Then we have Spring by Wallows. I really love Wallows. I love the lead singer's voice. I forget his name, but he was the main character on, what is that show? 13 Reasons Why. But he has such a nice voice, and this band is just really great. They feel a little inspired by Joy Division, which I really like, and they're just a cool, like, indie rock kind of band. And I think my favorite song on here is Pictures of Girls. I recommend checking them out. I'm sure you probably have heard them before. Then we have an interesting one. This is Hobo Johnson. Me and my best friend love Hobo. It's just so fun to, like, scream to in the car. We love Peach Scone, even though it's not on this one. That's probably our favorite song by him. But I really love Sex in the City, DeMarcus Cousins and Ashley, Romeo and Juliet. There's a lot of really good ones on here. I would say it's like an alternative rap, spoken word, emo kind of vibe. I'm not really sure, but if you've heard Hobo and you like his music, comment down below. Next we have some Mr. Donald Glover. This is Awaken My Love from Childish Gambino. This was a Christmas gift a few years ago from my sister Melissa. Such a beautiful, jazzy, soul kind of record. Obviously, this is the record with Redbone, but there's a lot of other really beautiful tunes on here. This is a single LP, so it's actually not that long of an album, but it's a journey. There's some interesting songs on here. I wouldn't say it's the most relaxing record, but it's very interesting, and you can kind of hear the experimentation that he took with this record. Next we have Sugar Ray. I love Sugar Ray. If you know that song, I Just Wanna Fly, That's Sugar Ray. That was an awful look into my singing voice. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Sugar Ray, one of my favorite throwback bands. But Every Morning is one of my favorite songs on here. If you know it, it's like, every morning there's a hand, whatever. I probably can't sing that or else I'll get copyrighted, but this is really cool because on the front, it's like a summer kind of picture with a dog standing on a diving board, but then it's like them on a vintage airplane. It's really interesting. This is a great like 90s, early 2000s kind of vibe and definitely very summery. It's something that I like to listen to kind of wake up and get energized. Then we have Iridescence from Brockhampton. I'm a huge fan of Brockhampton. They are incredible live. I love all of their projects. Iridescence actually is one of my least favorite albums from them, but that being said, it's an incredible album. I know I might get some hate for that, but the first Saturation is my favorite record from Brockhampton, so I definitely want to expand my Brockhampton collection. But this is a beautiful record. My sister got me this one as well, I believe. There's some amazing songs on here. I don't know if I have a favorite on this one, but I really love Where the Cash At. It's so hype, and I love Merlin. Right, then we have Lana Del Rey, Norman effing Rockwell. I know Lana can be a bit controversial, but you can't deny that she has a beautiful voice and her music is really, really beautiful. The only thing that kind of bothers me sometimes with Lana is the amount that she says like the same phrase in her songs. Like for instance, Venice Bitch. Like she just says it a lot. I still love her music. She's pretty iconic, but this is a beautiful record, another really relaxing one to listen to. I think my favorite one on here is Cinnamon Girl, and I really love Love Song. Yeah, those songs are just like almost nostalgic for me. And then my king, Kevin Parker. We have Currents from Tame Impala. This album, I mean, not even much I can say about it. It's just incredible. You probably know this as well. I don't know how I'll be able to pick a favorite. I'm gonna try. I mean, the cover art on here is just beautiful. Oh, this record is so good. I mean, I need to expand my Tame Impala collection as well because Inner Speaker is such an amazing album. His newest album as well. I mean, I just need everyone. So I think my favorite songs on here are Eventually, because I'm a Man, and Nangs is such an interesting song. It's just instrumental, but it's really good. And then Past Life is so good. Last up, we have Harry Styles. This was gifted to me by my beautiful friend Brienne. Shout out to you, Brie, if you're watching. Oh my god, this record is so good. Oh, I was listening to this last night when I was at my boyfriend's house. We were just jamming out, and I was so appreciative to him for letting me take that time to just jam out to my man when we were hanging out listening to music. And I was like, hold up, can we just get a little bit of Harry in the mix? I really think you need to experience his music, because he had basically only listened to Watermelon Sugar, and I was like, no, you need to delve in, and played a little bit from his self-titled album as well. Oh, I mean, everybody knows Harry Styles is amazing, but my favorite song on here I think is Sunflower and then Fine Line. Like Cherry is amazing, and She is amazing, and Adore You is amazing. Oh my god. I'm not gonna pick a favorite. That's just not possible. Alright, if you stuck it through, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any suggestions for other videos that you want me to film, leave those in the comments down below. If you want to follow me on my Instagram or my TikTok, you can just follow the links in my description. Take care of yourselves. I hope you guys have a beautiful week, and I'll catch you on the flip. See ya!